Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve Kay of Cattle Buyers Weekly. We had a cattle on feed report that came out about 24 minutes ago, and I think I would regard it as somewhat negative because of the much smaller marketing number in April than last year. And those numbers, just to reiterate, on feed on May 1, 10.822 million head, 97.2% of a year ago. Placed in April, 1.600 million, 104.2, so another increase, year-on-year increase for the second month in a row. Marketed 1.871 million, which is only 93.1% of a year ago. The marketings, in fact, were only 43,000 larger than March, and we knew that they'd come in low because we had cattle slaughtered during April that averaged scarcely over 600,000 head a week. Now, this plus the fact that May slaughter levels are also running well below year-ago levels suggests to me, at least, that we've got a slight backlog of cattle that could be developing. If I look at the May kills, and this is what is of some concern, this week's kill was 678,000, which is the largest kill of the year. The week before was 672, but if you just take those 2 weeks, and I mention those two because we've got the big Memorial Day weekend coming up, the kills last year averaged nearly 722,000, so this year's average of only 675 is much, much lower, and I think it's of some concern that we're not killing enough cattle, even though we've got fewer cattle on feed and fewer cattle coming to market. That's a balance to that, but it's also seen in the grading that still remains remarkably good. We're still grading, first week of May, we graded about 59% choice cattle. And secondly, the carcass weights have bottomed, and they've bottomed 4 and 6 pounds for steers and heifers, respectively. They've bottomed quite a bit above last year, and my concern is that going forward, packers will need to, they won't have to kill so many cattle because they'll be producing more beef per head. Interesting on the placement side, in contrast to March, the entire year-on-year increase in placements came in the lighter weight categories. The under 700-pound category saw a 67,000 head, or an 11.3% increase in placements, and the 700-pound and over category, the heavier cattle, saw a decline of 13,000 head. Placement increases for the month were most pronounced on the Southern Plains. Texas feedlots placed 10% more cattle than last year, Oklahoma feedlots 30% more, and New Mexico 22% more. Conversely, just a little bit further north, the Kansas feedlots placed 8% fewer cattle, and Nebraska further up placed 3% more. Those two states are interesting because their cattle on feed totals are both 5% lower than last year, while the Texas total was almost equal to last year. They're only just about 10,000 less, like 100% of last year. I just have to finish by saying I think it's grill or bust for the beef complex this weekend because Memorial Day is arguably our biggest grilling day, and the holidays even more importance this year because what consumers grill over this weekend and on the holidays, it could set the tone for the box beef and live cattle markets the rest of the summer. We've seen pretty disappointing beef sales each of the last 2 or 3 weekends, so we're hoping, and if you're listening, I hope get the message out to everybody to buy some steak this weekend. There's some great features out there at the retail level. The unfortunate thing is there's also some very cheap pork and chicken, and my concern is that consumers will continue to do what they've done for the last month or so and buy more of the cheaper meats than beef. But we can only hope that at least every second consumer puts a lot of steak on the grill this weekend, and then that will obviously have us all in a better frame of mind next week. So have a good holiday grilling weekend. Talk to you again next month.